A devastated wasteland, full of ever-evolving parasites, and a lot of abandoned towns and cities covering the face of the earth. Amid this chaos, biospheres stand as the last places of safety. While this is happening, a zombie virus is evolving and becoming more and more stronger. At night, zombies group up into giant hordes. This is the world of Ultimate Apocalypse, in which I try to survive 100 days. Starting off, I ran to the wall, breaking the glass and getting an overview of the situation. I then immediately started hacking some wood to build some tools. I made a workbench to craft a pickaxe and start mining stone, and upgraded my pickaxe, which I used to mine an exposed vein of iron. With the rest of my stone I made myself a stone pickaxe, and found some neatly placed melons which I gladly farmed. Suddenly, the first of them appeared. I quickly got rid of him by using my axe, but I knew I couldn't stay any longer, so I carefully made my way down the side of the biosphere. But again a zombie showed up to eat me. I skillfully landed and made quick work of the zombie. Easy peasy. In the same spot I located a mysterious blue liquid. Since I was a little dehydrated, I jumped right in. Not the best idea. I also found some cows. Since food was really scarce, I could factory farm them for a lot of meat. So I made a quick bunker where I could cram the cows in. On my way to a water source I came by a giant ravine and a couple of chickens. Not long and my hydration level reached 0 and I started to take damage. Panic kicked in as I couldn't find any water. I reached a dangerous ravine and could hear zombies from behind. The sun was setting and I still couldn't find any water and was almost dead. A wave of relief washed over me as I saw water appear. Tasty contaminated groundwater. After hydrating I dug myself in, since I ventured deep into the wilderness and night was setting in. During the night I began making coal and smelting some iron, as I had no other choice but to stay and wait. So with the little bit of iron I started to make 2 buckets, which I would use to collect water and stay hydrated. At the end of the first night I also made some iron tools and used them to slaughter the horde of zombies. At the start of day 2 I disassembled my base and made my way back home. Instead of fighting I just ran, because I still had no armor. A short while after I encountered a slime which I killed because of its resources, thinking maybe in the future I will need them. Before entering the biosphere I also mined some coal and iron. Also found some nice looking ruby ore, which would turn out to be the most useless trash ever. While entering my base I took another cow with me. The dark and thick rainforest posed perfect breeding ground for the infected, so the next step of my plan was to create a perimeter around my base that was cleared of any trees, so I could detect any dangerous infected, as well as deny them spawning ground. After conducting some deforestation I prepared for the night by blocking my entrance and building a makeshift roof for my cows. Also started to improve my bunker a little bit, since I figured that this will be my home for a couple of days. The rest of the daylight I just used to dig deeper and expand my base. I also added an infinite water source for hydration. Soon night kicked in and my base was completely swarmed with zombies. What you doing there, buddy? I decided it is best to use my free time now to go mining, because I still had no bed. I made myself an iron armor, went down and actually found a ravine. I mined some more iron and found the next useless ore. Also made some more iron tools that I would need. On day 3 I eagerly started hacking away at the rainforest to expand my perimeter. Also skillfully almost died by a falling tree. The next step of the plan was to create a wheat farm, so I wouldn't be only dependent on meat. So I used my water buckets to gather a lot of seeds. After gathering enough seeds, I started to build my farm. The farm needed to be elevated from the ground so there would be no chance of any infected reaching it. But suddenly, while peacefully building, I got attacked. After clapping the zombies, I finished up the farm, planted all my crops and made the structure look a little bit nicer by adding horizontal beams. I also added a protective ring of fences around my farm. The last encounter with the infected really showed me how undergunned I was. So to fix it, I made a special weapon that could maximize my killing output. So to test the new weapon, I went out and challenged those losers. After a long night of fighting, I started the day off slow by just hacking some wood. I also encountered a couple of buddies, which I quickly disposed of using my new weapon. I still had no bed, so I decided to find some sheeps. After some meters, I found a spider which I killed for its string. I ventured very deep into the scorching hot wasteland and found some abandoned houses. I broke into one and actually found something very useful. Oh my god, finally some good loot. Also looted a chest filled with melon seeds, iron and a golden apple. At the end of daylight I took some string with me and destroyed the spawners of the spiders to make sure that this house would be safe in the future. The last house that I looted had some mediocre items, but I took them nonetheless. The night kicked in and shelter needed to be found. Snaily snail. Zombies started to follow me, so I blocked the entrance to the biosphere. To clean off the day, I farmed some useless redstone. On the start of day 6, I added melons to my farm. Although it wasn't much, progress was being made. The hype for this day was pretty big, so I continued chopping down the rainforest and killed another visitor of my base. This guy over here looking like Swiss cheese. Now, I still needed some wool, so I decided to explore the wasteland again, but this time in the other direction. The sun became too hot, even for me, so I decided to seek out shelter in a nearby ravine. While down there, I finally found some lapis and now could use the enchantment table. Next thing I did was loot the library. I killed all the spiders and looted 2 chests. In one of them I found 1 enchanted golden apple, which would later come really in handy. I took another anvil, a couple more bookshelves and headed home. Back at base I made myself an iron saber as my new main weapon. And using the slime, I crafted a special grappling hook. Of course I went on a little killing spree to test my new main weapon. Not bad. On day 6 I decided it would be time to expand my cow farm. So I started digging. And after a short while I realized that this bunker resembled a torture dungeon more than a base. But since this is exactly what these cows deserved, I just continued. After a short while something strange happened. What the fish was that? I'ma beat his ass if he yells again. After that weird sound, I transferred my cows into my bigger farm. And harvested my crop. My melons started to pay off as well. Later that night I finally started to enchant my armor. I got protection 1 on all my gear, which for now would be enough. On my hammer I got smite, which would really come in handy against zombies. Until the end of the night I constantly got harassed by zombies and had to fight them off. On day 7 I found a new pet for the base. I don't know, that looks kinda weird. While leaving the biosphere, I made first contact with the parasites. And I even saw one evolving. Ey, bis jetzt, don't kill me. Debil. After this more or less friendly encounter, I began looting some more buildings. I found a brewing stand and another anvil. And much more other treasure. Now I still didn't have any bookshelves for my enchantment table. So I took them from the surrounding buildings and the library. The rest of the day I just wandered around the ruins until I found this weird subway tunnel. After opening it, I jumped in. Hello? Are you guys friendly? Get back! I think I should skedaddle out of here. Don't mind me, I'm leaving. Those were some crazy dudes. Now that night kicked in, I went to find some shelter in the library. I barricaded the lower entrances and tried to hold the position until dawn. But somehow zombies still kept entering the library, so I checked the upper floor. Oh no, this is completely open. No, stop it, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Uh oh, that's not good. I'm dead meat. Weak pizdiet. Oh my god, that was more than close. Skill play, of course. After surviving the zombie horde, I went back and finished the barricade. But the temperature soon dipped below zero and I had to find the heat source. I found lava nearby and even heard a sheep, but I had to dig myself in because I was getting overrun. The next day I started off by almost being killed. Best Spider-Man on this planet. I also found a family of tasty looking deer and a big juicy sheep from yesterday. Man, he's happy to see me. I'm gonna eat you today. While farming, I got a strange message. One? You mean like the one big boss I am on this planet? Yes, I agree. Later that night, I finally made my bed. And took my first nap. On day 9, I woke up to some weird ass sounds from my pigeon. I then continued to multiply my cows. The meat factory was slowly filling itself. And I was especially happy how depressing this all looked like. I then set up the ultimate brewing station for aesthetic purposes. The rest of the day I spent destroying the ecosystem and decimating the rainforest. Good progress so far. On day 10 I started to strip mine. My goal was to find diamonds and upgrade my gear. Since the virus mutates every 10th day and the infected will become too strong in my current state. Damn. Even in the most remote places I find these little bastards. While digging I found everything but diamonds. Then after a while I stumbled upon a creepy infested cave. Sure, Nachui. Doesn't sound too good, not gonna lie. Ooh, this looks kinda spicy. And there it is, a horde of zombies. Looks like the problem solved itself. That's kinda like a natural mob farm. Not bad at all. This sound again. What? Ah, so this idiot is behind it after all. The next day was a nice depressing rainy day. Crop looking nice and ripe, like your mom. Melons also looking fresh. Right after harvest I straight went back to the mines, because I needed those diamonds. You birds, what are you doing? Little annoying kamikaze zombies. I then repelled another attack and went on to strip mine for a long time. Still no diamonds. Next day I decided I will be doing some exploration. For preparation I made a halberd. With it I could take on even the biggest of parasites. Well, in theory. While walking, I figured I should look for diamonds in chests or canyons since I couldn't find any while strip mining. Didn't find any, but what I found was a nice and tasty surprise. Ooh, nice, another bookshelf. What a fucking scam. Not dying today. I tried to escape, but more and more zombies started to hunt me. Eventually, I triggered the whole neighborhood. Ooh, these guys are not happy. Ach, jetzt, Blair, he's after me. I saved myself by making a stone tower again. On the next day, I went to another biosphere to see how they looked like. Inside, I found a big abandoned structure. I went to the deepest level of the main building. And besides a bunch of spiders, there was no really good loot. On the way back home, I took chickens with me. I also lit out the place so these guys won't attack me anymore. On day 16, I began building my safe tower. The base needed to be elevated into the air. So for my base, I created 4 tall pillars. They would be holding the main platform. A wall of fences was made to protect the entrance and the way up. It would also prevent infected from waiting at the entrance and securing my way into the safe house. A double set of wooden fence doors would be used as the first line of defense. In the meanwhile, I placed a stone wall around my base for additional protection. This guy got lost to his way to Chernobyl. Oi, cheeky dog. I finished the day with a nice little place for my chickens. I continued with building a proper enchantment station. To defend myself on the safe tower, I needed an iron crossbow. With my new enchantment station, I made myself new armor. On my boots I got double jump, which was like the best enchantment I could possibly get, as it replaced the grappling hook, which sucked anyway. At last I finished my safe tower. For quick travel I used ladders. The big platform on top would give me excellent view. I can live with that. On the next day, while transferring cows, the message "free" appeared in the chat. The parasites were evolving quicker than I thought. I anyway built a second farm for my cows so I would have a backup. Also added a secondary melon farm. Overall, the base was growing pretty good. Now that the base was pretty solid, I decided to take a risk outside the biosphere, which in hindsight maybe wasn't the smartest move. The infected started to overpower me and I tried to save myself. I quickly ran up the stairs and closed the door. Never doing this again, but the attacks didn't just stop there. Oh my god, what is happening today? Man, this is a weird night. What a bunch of bozos. I cleaned the mess from the night before and went back inside. The wheat supply was going zero, so a couple of cows had to be killed. As I stepped into the cage and tried to butcher them, one of them turned. As soon as I killed this crazy cow, the blood splat everywhere and infected a lot more cows. I started to panic and tried to contain the spread by killing a lot more cows, but it was too crowded and I couldn't stop it. Soon the whole place was infected. I almost died to this crazy ass cow. This is pure madness. Just as I thought I had the spread under control. Ай нахуй пошел. No, пошел нахуй. This is now officially a true Russian bunker. At least I have you guys, my beautiful cows. Bruh, who are you? After waiting a short while, I started to dismantle my bunker. Didn't want to sleep next to a bunch of mutant cows, so I took my stuff and decided to expand my safe tower. Somehow cows didn't drop any meat, so the quick fix was to build a secondary farm on my safe tower. I made a secondary escape on the top of the biosphere by extending my tower. In the meanwhile, the attacks at daylight were increasing and I felt something was up, so I finished up the wheat farm and added another melon farm. Now that I felt safe and confident, I went up on the biosphere and challenged this urod. I tried to approach him slowly. Oi, mate, what you doing up there? Oi, Blin, he's following me. This is a giant piece of Jets moment. Yeah, now you're dead, boy. Blair! After the incident, I took a sword and had to challenge the infected again. You did not just rip me again, boy. What then began was a complete and utter rampage of the infected. I first tried making a bunch of spears and killing him, but by breaking the glass he somehow began to dig himself into the biosphere. In a couple of seconds he just dropped down. He was now trapped at my spawn location and I couldn't get anywhere. I then had the brilliant idea to jump down so that he will follow me. Oh my god, I thought I was almost eternally spawn trapped. Come on, come out. And there he is. This guy just keeps tanking my shots. I don't think I can kill him. Oh crap. I don't think he can see me. I just want my stuff. Yeah, please don't. I think I'm safe here. Пиздец. The whole night was just a massacre and a complete disaster for me. He was still running around and destroying my safe tower so I couldn't get down. I'm tickling him. While trying to rebuild, this guy just kept coming. I guess he's staying forever now. I had to accept my defeat. I packed all my stuff, took all my wheat and just went away. I sought out shelter in a new biosphere. In it there was pretty much everything you would need. I got the water supply and the food supply. I cleaned the whole building and looted everything. At the end I also found myself a new abyss and enchantment table. Also found a bunch of bookshelves so I could build up a new enchantment station very quick. The situation was pretty bad since I was basically homeless and I didn't want to wait till night. For this night I found shelter in a little air gap. Sleeping was impossible since the infected were eyeballing me like a little tasty midnight snack. On the next day I crawled out of my hiding space. Man, this sucks, I'm back at drinking pond water. I went looking around finding a good cave. Once I was satisfied I began making a temporary base. Since I needed to rebuild from scratch I began farming resources. And as luck wanted it I found finally my first diamonds. The next couple of days was just me focusing on getting those resources back. But the problem was I was only feeding on melons and other animals didn't drop any more food. So the solution was to leave the cave and start finding a new base. I think I found a pretty good base. Just a look at my neighbor. This guy is nuts. I made myself comfortable in a tall and easily defendable tower. A cheap cobble staircase would be my entrance to my house. Also a long ladder would protect me from guys that destroyed my last base. There was still enough gold for 2 golden apples, so I made those. Also started clearing out trees around the house. The next morning something happened. Ach, jetzt. It's him again. This is definitely over for me. Where is he? There he is. This time I'm gonna win. What the fuck is that? What kind of ugly fat shit is this? Take that. Oh, what? I failed. The parasites won. My base is now dead. And there's no hope of returning. It proved to be too hard to survive in this apocalypse. Maybe even impossible. But I won't give up. I will try again. And next time win.